welcome to the show brought to you by the Pub Brain Podcast. It's time to do our report cards for all 10 nations. We do this on the main show for the PHR teams. We basically just, look back at the performances and we just talk about it and give you our critiques on that. So we are doing these in the reverse order of the world rankings. So last time we did the team that came 8th in the rankings. We're now moving on to the team that finished 7th in the rankings. And that team is Germany. So Germany played 5 games in total, so they're 4 group games plus the quarterfinal matchup against Canada. Across those 5 games, they had 2 regulation wins, 1 overtime win, no overtime losses, and 2 regulation losses. They scored 11 goals, conceded 13 goals. So their goal differential was -2, and they picked up a total of 8 points. Now, I'm going to be honest, Germany. I think you did a lot better than I gave you credit for. Okay. Because let's face it, I'll hold our hands up. Going into the local team, I did not give Germany much of a chance. Okay? I mean, Lady and me, we weren't really impressed with how they performed in Czechia in the World Championships last year. We kind of felt Germany was skating on very thin ice. You've got Sweden, who's going to be that group, who are going to be expected to win it outright. Japan's going to want something to prove. Then you got Italy, France, who could maybe cause a ruckus. So I kind of felt Germany would have to fight hard to keep their place in the knockouts. Now, they came undone by Sweden very early on in the tournament. Understandable, fine. But that, I believe, was one of their first game, so they could get that out of the way and then just focus on getting points out of Italy, France, and Japan, which should have been a lot easier said than done. Now, the Japan game, I had no problem with how Germany played in that, because I had more issues with Japan in that game than I had against Germany. It's the last 2 games, so your games against France and Italy, that's where I'm gonna pick a bone from you guys. Because really, Germany should have beaten France outright. That should have been an easy 3 points, an easy regulation win right there. And yet, the fact that France not only found a way to tie that game up, but set it into OT, that I think tells you that Germany was on the rocks. They were on the ropes. They weren't as rock solid as they would have been in previous years. Okay? And I was really surprised by that. And then their game against Italy was like, oh my god, this was turned to a really good game. Because it's interesting, because obviously, when that game went around, that was the second, it was the last day of the group game, so that was the second game of the card. Sweden had just beaten Japan, so that confirmed Italy were through, because Germany were already through, so that confirmed Italy were through. So those 2 teams knew, in terms of the points, you don't need to worry about qualifying. What we need to determine is who's going to play, who's going to go into knockouts as the second place team in the group, and who's going to go to the third place team in the group. So basically, this game then became a game of who does not want to play us. Because the loser was definitely going to play us. Okay? And I felt that Italy, in that game, while Germany did end up getting the full 3 points, Italy played, for me, my eyes, a lot better in that game than Deutschland. Okay? The fact that Italy got so close to getting another steal, was just, oh my god. When the Germany got that goal, I was like, oh! Because secretly, I was rooting for the Italians. Not because I wanted to play the Germans in the quarters. I'm an Englishman. We don't ever want to play Germany in a quarters. I'm a born and bred Manchu. We never want to see Germany in an international tournament in a knockout stage. Trust me. Yeah. It was not because of that. It's because secretly I wanted Italy to do really well in these games, and I thought they could get like a second win. That would have been, well, technically a third win because they only had 2 of the bouts. This would have been their third. If they could have got a third win on these games, that would have been just absolutely brilliant. But no, Germany eventually proved why they are ranked higher than Italy in the world rankings. They got that win. What was interesting though is when it came to the quarters, Canada played had a number, you know. And as I can contest, because obviously I'm with Team USA, we could see that Canada was not playing as well as they should have been in the group stages. You know, the fact that Switzerland kept them off the board for a whole period, the fact that we managed to put 5 past our lesbians, 5 out of lesbians was a bit of a shock. And then obviously having to scrape through against Czechia and Finland. So we Americans could already tell you Germans that Canada is actually vulnerable. They're there for the taking, and Germany just did not really, have anything to show for it, and it was a very dismal performance because obviously Germany worked hard in the groups to get in second place. It was not easy because France and Italy did not make it easy. And of course, that loss to Sweden also didn't help matters either. So Germany had to really fight hard to get second place in the group. But what I thought was interesting was how when it came to the knockouts, when it came to that big moment, Germany was not able to step up to the plate as they normally are able to do. Because I think Germany is a team that could have given Canada a bit of a nasty scare. But they didn't do as well as they probably could and should have done. And it does make you wonder, where does Germany go from here? Okay, where does Germany go from here? And what I'm so pleased about with the new format for the World Championships, with the groups being balanced, is it means that we have an opportunity to get a different side to a team in that played how they did the Olympics, and we get to see a different side of them. Because I do sort of wonder what would have happened if Germany instead finished third in Group B and ended up getting us in the quarters. Well, here comes our chance to find out. Because Germany are in this year's World Championships in Denmark are going to be the exact same group as the Americans. So we are going to have a group game against the Americans. In fact, it is on my birthday. Yeah. November the 8th, that is when the USA will take on Germany. I think it's one of the afternoon games on the card, not the evening one. Yeah, so we're going to have an opportunity to find out what would have happened if the US and the Germans had met in La Cortina. And that's what really excites me about the group, about the way the groups now work for World Championships, especially having an Olympic cycle where one team didn't get to see a particular team, and you wonder how they did against that team. Well, we now get to find out. That's really good. That's really, really good. So yeah, so I do wonder what would happen if Germany had faced us instead of Canada. Would Germany still have struggled, or would they have, made it a lot more tricky for the US to get into the semi-finals? I know. Well, we will find out in November, because we will have an opportunity to play Germany at the World Championships in November, and that's what's really exciting. So they're now in Group A. Now, Germany in the past have been in Group B. But obviously, this time around the groups are balanced. So teams that have been in Group B in the past, they now get to go in Group A. And some teams who've been in Group A before now in Group B, but it's because they're balanced. So yeah. And Germany, I think, could easily could finish second in the groups this year, because obviously, apart from us, they're surrounded by their neighbours. Because Switzerland's there, Austria's there, Czechia's there. They're all neighbours. They all border Germany. They're all neighbours of Germany. So there should be no excuse for Germany not to do as well in the groups this time in World Championships compared to last year. Because last year's World Championships, we had Germany as predicted to be second in the groups after that stage, and they ended up being in third because Japan managed to beat them in that game that was decided who's going to get second in the group. So we'll see how that fares. But I thought it was interesting with that game in the Olympics. Germany, I think, played a lot better against Japan than they did in the Worlds last year. So that's kind of a redemption there for the Dutch Germans. But I still feel I just can't really work out with Germany. You know, where's this team going? You know, what is really next for the Germans? I just can't really. You know, it's tricky because I feel like Germany should be right. You know how throughout the year we talked about those various nations to watch out for in the future, and we said Swami, we said Sparia, and we also said Czechia. Well, you think Germany should be up there because obviously, you know, in the men's competition they have, you know, been on the rise. I mean, they got silver in Pyeongchang, when I think they probably should have won gold, but less said about the better, especially who they played in that finals. Less said the better. Less said the better. Yeah. So Germany is a nation hockey that is on the rise. It's just right now I can't really work out where this team's going or how this team should be performing in the future. I don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't know what we're gonna do with Germany. I really don't, because I feel like this should be a nation on the rise, and yet they just still haven't gotten anywhere. In my opinion, that shows me that this team is taking the right steps, taking those right steps to getting to where they want to be. So I think it would be very interesting to see Germany in a medals game. In fact, let's look at their previous appearances in the Olympics, shall we? Okay. So here we go. So Deutschland. Okay, so Germany's only been in 4 Olympics. So 2002, 2006, 2014, and then 2026. Wow! So they've not been. Wow. So this is their first time back since Sochi. Wow. Okay, so 2002 in Salt Lake City they came in 6th place. Then 2006, so that would have been Torino. The last home games were in Italy. Oh, that's their best showing. They came 5th. They came 5th in Torino. And then in Sochi, they were 6th. Okay, so, okay. So, that's not, those actually aren't bad records, actually. Those are pretty good showings, actually. Very good. Very good showings. Yeah. Unfortunately, when it comes to the Worlds, they haven't really managed to replicate that, I'm afraid. But we'll see how it goes next. We'll see how it goes this year. Yeah. So very respectable there finishes in previous Olympics. But wow, so they've not been. This was their first time back since Sochi. Wow. Wow. Yeah, I still don't know what to make. I think for Germany, the best thing that they could do is now build a consecutive qualification streak, so a consecutive here, so like qualify again in 4 years' time, the French Alps. That I think should be the goal. Because as Germany's proven, it's very easy when you then not qualify. It's very easy to then not qualify them for consecutive Olympic cycles. You're just then waiting for that opportunity to rise for you to make your mark and strike. And clearly it was in 2026. Yeah, so I kind of feel Germany, the way forward should be to try and get like a consecutive, appearances in these Olympic Games, because you've been making it good in the top 10 of the worlds. We just need to see that replicate on the Olympic stage. So, yeah, it's tricky for me to try and work out where do I think Germany could go next. And it's also quite hard to look back on their tournament and think how they did, because I mean, you did okay, but was it impressive? No. Because when it got to the quarters, you didn't really show that much. I mean, that qualifier game I think is the best we saw Canada play, and Germany just made it too easy for them. They just made it far too easy for Canada to get a stronghold in that game and show people this is the Canada that you've been waiting for. This is the Canada you were expecting. But in the groups, Germany did very, very well. I felt they played decently, although the games against France and Italy shouldn't have been as close as they were. Those are two games you look back and think, going into the tournament, you think Germany should easily have those two nations on a silver platter. Easily done. The only game I thought was going to be tricky for Germany was Japan. Because going into the tournament, I thought, no chance against Sparia. You should easily get La France and Italia. Job done, easy there. Japan, for me, was going to be the sticky one, because Germany did not play well against Japan in the World Championships last year, and that helped Japan get second in the groups over Germany. So, I did wonder, that might be a bit of a tricky one, depending on how we use recent competitions as a baseline. But yet, Germany played very well against Japan. So that was kind of like a little redemption moment for the Germans in a way. But yeah, but the games against France and Italy, I'm so surprised with how close they were. You know, that's a bit of a head scratcher as to why those games were so close. Because really, Germany should have whooped France's backsides. I mean, Sparia did. So Deutschland, why couldn't you do that as well? Then Italy, the fact that was so close to being an overtime result. And obviously, when the game began, I didn't mind who won that game, because obviously I had no preference of facing who I wanted to face between those two teams. They were good. They were two great teams. Either one would have been a opponent. But secretly, my heart was rooting for the Italians because I wanted Italy to finish strong in the groups. Yeah. So Germany, those two games, interesting, because really you should have had those two convincingly on your belt. So that for me is another. Why did you not have those? Surely you should have get wins easily over Japan, over France and Italy. You did over Japan, so why did you know those two? Yeah. So it's kind of hard to work out where Germany should go next. What is next to this team? Can they now build a consecutive appearance in the Olympics? Can they try and build on this into the World Championships? How are they going to fare now under a balanced system? We do not know. It's just, I feel like Germany, I think so far, because next time will be halfway. The next one will be the last of the first 5. So we're nearly halfway through these report cards, and so far, Germany is the team I look at and think, I don't know. I don't want to make because on the one hand they did have a decent tournament, but at the same time there are a lot of shortcomings in this performance compared to a lot of things to celebrate about, like the fact the 2 games against France and Italy. Honestly, Joe, you will look back at those and think, really, you should have done this better. You should have tied up there. You watch those back, you will look at those and think, yep, there's at least a couple of sequences here. I think that should have been done a lot more improved than we actually did. You trust me, you'll look back on that. You really will. You look back at that and think, damn it. You will. Honestly, you will. Okay, you will. Just trust me, you will. Yeah, I think we probably will see Germany again next time round. I think this team's got a lot more to prove. It'll be interesting to see how they fare in Worlds this year. Now we've got balanced groups compared to before. And who knows, Germany might get a better opponent in the quarters and might stand a chance for a medals appearance. Who knows? We'll see. We will see. It's so exciting. This is why I was going to be so excited with the way the format is now. It's going to be so exciting. And maybe Germany will be the biggest beneficiaries of the new system. We'll see. We will see. But yeah, it's so hard to work out with Germany how they did. to try and pinpoint what the best parts of the performance was. Quite tricky. Because your golden measure wasn't bad. Still the minuses, I'm afraid. It was still in the minuses, but look at that thing. That's not a bad goal differential for a team that was kind of going into the tournament on the ropes. So that's not bad. That is not bad. Very decent showing there. They did very well across all the 5 games they played. Yeah, there were a couple of areas they need to have tightened up a bit. A couple of areas they need to have worked on. But all in all, they didn't do a bad show. They did not do a bad show indeed. Okay, so that's going to conclude this report card for Team Germany. Interesting one of the ones I've done so far. Because for Germany, there's a team where I kind of felt I don't really know what I make of that. I really don't. So I hope they manage to do the best of their abilities there to try and give you a fair hearing there, Deutschland. Yeah, so it was kind of tricky, but anyway, that's going to do it for today. Until next time, take care.